Welcome to the Art of Precision on Gillette World Sport. Coming up today, we're hoisting the sails on leg 0 of the Volvo Ocean Race. Reliving a winning run with X Games gold medalist Jarryd Hughes. And breaking down the art of karate.
My favorite techniques are kicking. I like how creative I can get with them.
First on Gillette World Sport, we're in the UK to talk karate technique with world champion Jordan Thomas.
Karate is everything. We punch like boxers, kick like taekwondo, and throw like judo. It's a way of life. Everything that I do is for karate. It's brought discipline to my life. So the way I carry myself is karate. The way I walk, the way I talk, that's karate for me. Karate comes from Japan, from Okinawa, as it's a Japanese sport. Everything is about respect. Every time we enter a dojo, we have to bow, give respect to the dojo, and when we leave, we have to respect the dojo and we say us. Competitive karate is formed of kumite and kata. Kumite is fighting and kata is a form of moves. I do kumite, so I fight. So I punch, I kick and I sweep, and I do that with speed and power. We have body punches and head punches. So to the body, we call that gakuzuki. Then we have punches to the head, which is gazamazuki, which is more like a jab. With kicking, we have chudan washes, which was to the body. Okay, so we always have to kick above the belt. To the head, we have different types of kicks. Okay, we have mwashigeri, which is like a roundhouse, and we've got uruma wash, which is a hook kick. Then we have the sweeps. We only allowed to sweep below the knee and make sure that we're in distance, and also when we're in a clinch, we have to sweep below the hip. My favorite techniques are kicking. I've always been a kicker. I like how creative I can get with them, but I can do everything. We fight on a tatami, which is a mat, 8 by 8 meters. We walk on and we bow and give our respect to our referee and then to our opponent. And then from there, I stand in ready position, which is called yoi. And when the referee says hajime, that means go, then it's time for war. So our bout lasts for 3 minutes. Now to score our points, punches are 1 point, body kicks are 2, and head kicks and sweeps 3. To win the bout, who's got the most points at the end of the bout, or if we go 8 points clear, then the bout stops. I started at 4 years old. My dad was world karate champion. My godfather, he's also world champion. So my dreams was to be like them. My path took me there. If you asked me at 4 years old, what did I want to be? It was world champion. You asked me at 10 years old, what did I want to be? It was world champion. You asked me 2 years ago, what did I want to be? It was world champion. The World Championships in 2016 was a memorable experience. I went into that tournament as current European bronze medalist. Through the rounds, I had a hard time to get to the final. I felt like people still didn't think I can do it, but that doesn't matter. I believe that I could do it. Now, coming into this final, I was confident, I was ready, and with my dad there, we knew I had to focus. I had to use all my training that I've done with my mind and my physical aspect. This was the time to do it. What made it easy, this final here, I have a little dream on my shoulder. And I believe my dream is stronger than theirs. I've had it since I was young. I've always remembered wanting to be world champion. So when I stepped on the mat with that dream on my shoulder, I was looking into his eyes. And that made me stronger. That's what helps me. That's what motivates me. In that fight, this guy was ranked number 2 in the world. And I was ranked number 11. But in my head, there was no way I was going to give up that medal. And me and my dad walked out and we executed the fight that we planned. I knew I was going to be world champion. It was just you guys didn't know. The amazing experience for me to go out and win the world champions and replicate what my dad did was amazing. Karates are now a new Olympic sport. That's a new dream for me. I've grown up with the Olympics. Some of my idols are in the Olympics, you know? And now I get to experience that. I know I can be an Olympic champion. So now it's about showing myself to the world.
Time now to look at the videos making the social headlines. Cyclist Chris Froome hitched a ride on the Team Sky party bus after becoming the first man in 39 years to win the Vuelta a España and the Tour de France in the same season. Rafa Nadal left a message for his fans after he defeated Kevin Anderson to win his 16th major title at the US Open.
Yeah, difficult to describe the feeling, no? So just thank you very much, everybody, for following and keep in touch.
Rookie running back Kareem Hunt gained a record 246 yards on his NFL debut as his 3 touchdowns helped the Kansas City Chiefs upset the New England Patriots. The start of the new American football season clearly inspired skateboarder Ryan Sheckler, who showed his receiving skills by catching this pass from wakeboard star Still Lafferty. Back on water, Lafferty was doing what he does best as he nailed this mute double half cab roll. Scottish mountain biker Scott Lachlan was picking up speed in Italy. Freerunner Alex Schauer was perfecting his technique working out at a training hall in Vienna. Decathlon world champion Kevin Mayer can add basketball to the list of sports he's good at as he shot this three-pointer. And finally, Louisville University's baseball team showed impressive teamwork to pull off this very intricate swimming pool trick shot.
Ahead of his first races of the season, we're in Australia now to relive X Games 2016 with gold medalist Jarryd Hughes.
Coming into X Games 2016, I was really nervous because this was the event I wanted. This was the event I've always wanted to win. I felt like I was doing really well coming up into it. I was coming back from knee surgery and it was all kind of coming together at a point to really get a result here. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
This is Snowboarder X Final.
So we're at the start. I'd qualified first, which I'd never done before, which was really nerve-wracking, but really self-assuring.
And a long delay, you saw how jumpy they were. Once again, a great pull by the yellow of Jarryd Hughes.
I think this is the first time I've ever won a start, ever. And I got lost a bit, being like, I'm out in front, what do I do here? And Nikolai's gone down up in turn 1, so now there's only 5 of us. We come over the dragon, I get passed by 2 people. I'm like, what do I do? I've gone from first to third, and then we come down and I've gone to 4th, and I'm getting lost. I don't know what to do. I think this was the 5th turn, and I come down and I go a little bit inside, and Trevor comes up and we hit boards. And you're just like, oh, okay, got to hold on, see how it goes. He goes out and somehow it gives me a little bit of speed. We were coming down through this turn and I get sandwiched between Alex and Alessandro. And I'm like, no, you cannot back off. This is podiums. You've got to go. First or last, just like time to put the extra boosters on. And we come down, I'm right behind Alex.
It is a drag race to the finish.
And I'm thinking, okay, get in his slipstream, hide right behind him, try and cut some air out, maybe get a little bit faster. And just before the jump, I'm like, okay, go left, it's now or never. It was either I was gonna make this jump really well, or I was going in for some sort of surgery to fix something. And come down to the finish line and throw.
And he brings it home. Jarryd Hughes, your #1 qualifier, getting it done.
I knew I'd won immediately because everything went slow motion from all the adrenaline. And all I can hear is my dad in the background screaming. This is your childhood dream. You've just won X Games. You don't even know what you've done. Probably the coolest thing ever.
This is amazing. We're in Germany for a World Cup, and all I could think about was winning gold here, and just so happy it's finally here.
Watching this back, it definitely brings back some pretty intense memories that are all really good, but it just makes me want to win some more. It's like, great, you've won X Games. What are you going to win next? My goals going forward in my career are pretty easy. Win World Championships, win the Olympics, but have fun while I'm doing it and enjoy the journey.
Now we transition from sea to snow with an insight into the transferable skill sets used in kiteboarding.
I've been an athlete pretty much all my life. I was into speed skating, long track speed skating when I was younger, and once that career sort of ended, I found kiteboarding and I just fell in love with it because it never felt like I was going to an arena. I'm always going to a place where it's full of adventure. Just took off from there.
I'm gonna fly!
Your kite flying skills is 75% of what it is to snow kite or kite surf or hydrofoil or whatever genre you do of the sport. They're all very similar, and it's so exciting to always have a changing sport. There's certain kites that are better for certain conditions, but it's more or less the same equipment. It's all transferable from water to snow, and you just change the vessel underneath your feet. It's an adventure sport wherever you go. You always want to make sure your gear is in top-notch condition. If you're not looking after it and you're being rough with your gear, just like anything, it's going to fail on you. Treat all your gear with respect and it will give you it back. For recreational riding, you just need a basic level of fitness and you can take right off with it. It's really accessible. That's a great part about the sport. You don't need a big vehicle or anything to do it. All the gear packs up nicely. It's relatively affordable. It's great. Training for it is just a lot of core strength. Always try to keep my core strong. Sit-ups in the morning, doing bridges and keeping the upper body strength. And then hopping on bike, even just doing stuff that I enjoy. I don't ever want it to feel like I'm dragging myself to the gym or anything. I'm running out the door to do. I'm not dragging myself there to do it. It's a sport where you have to clear your head, but you got to pay attention. You got to be aware. If you spend enough time with the equipment, it's second nature to do those things. So it's just time and practice that makes perfect. A lot of it is strategy and knowing wind directions and knowing where you are and where the wind's coming from. It works just like a sailboat. You're always going 90 degrees to your right or to your left, starboard or port, working your way against the wind or working your way downwind. It's all about precision and keeping in control and having a very, very good idea of what you're doing. You want to make sure your kite doesn't overpower you. You're always in control. If you're not in control, you're probably going to get overpowered and you're going to get too much speed in a direction you don't want. So the key is control. Two of the lines on the kite are static lines, and what they do is they hold all the tension and all the pull. And the other two lines on the kite, they control how much power you are getting out of the kite, as well as the direction the kite will fly. You can break 100 kilometers an hour if you have the right wind speeds. It's a very, very fast sport. It's a little bit nail-biting because you know if you have a train wreck, you're gonna end up in the hospital possibly. My favorite part is probably the feeling of you can turn the kite into a bit of like a glider, almost like a paraglider. The equipment's not built to do that, but the feeling of flying is just too good to resist, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts of it. You can essentially stay in the air for quite a long time. I think my longest flight's probably like a minute 40 with a kite, which is unbelievable. Most people would see it as just a surface sport, but you can turn it into a very extreme sport when you start to fly, and you can hit like over 100 feet easy, but you want to stay on the safe side and only fly at least 20 feet off the ground tops. The kites in the last few years, the research and just the development that's gone into what makes a good race kite, or any kite in that matter, is really, really skyrocketed, and now we have these kites that will get us into conditions that we normally couldn't kite in. They really reduce the weight of the kite. They fly themselves almost. It's incredible. You're harnessing this natural power that is always there, even though you can't see it. It's just a really cool feeling to get that much adrenaline from such a simple thing.
Next up, a first chance to see the Volvo Ocean Race teams in action on the brand new Leg Zero. For over 40 years, the Volvo Ocean Race has been known as the longest and toughest offshore sailing competition in the world. The next edition will feature 7 teams who will race over 45,000 nautical miles across 4 oceans on their way around the globe. For the first time ever, when the race gets underway on the 22nd of October, the 7 teams will already have sized each other up. The new Leg Zero saw the full fleet come face-to-face over 4 races, which act as the official qualification for the next edition. The opening race was a sprint of 50 nautical miles around the Isle of Wight off the south coast of England. With gusts of over 40 knots, the sailors were forced to get to grips with their one-design Volvo Ocean 65s quickly. And in an incredibly close race, it was Spanish team Mapfre who made an early mark. They found faultless form and beat the established record time for a monohull rounding of the Isle of Wight.
Great to get lined up against all the boats, and did a really nice job on the start and managed to lead out the needles, and just all of our changes were really smooth, and the boat was going pretty well, and yeah, to get a win, pretty awesome.
It would have been nice if it was above 30 knots for the first day, but it's pretty clear that the guys that have got the most time in the boat, like Mapfre, showed they've had the most time in the boat.
The second stage was the famous Rolex Fastnet race, presenting a very different challenge to the 7-strong fleet.
Well, the Fastnet race is one of the great inshore, offshore races, and you get tested in a huge range of conditions. So for us, it's our first measure, if you like, with an offshore sort of moding.
Obviously, we had the short little lap around the island the other day, but to get offshore a little bit and get settled in some watch routines and that sort of thing is going to be really good, and just it's important for us to learn and see where we're at against the other teams.
A 390-boat fleet set a unique challenge in the early stages of the race, but after a night of concentration in light conditions, China's Dongfeng race team were the first Volvo Ocean Race team to round the iconic Fastnet Rock. Although there were no dramatic crashing waves to navigate on the second night, the hours of darkness saw some intense lead changes, and after more than 600 miles at sea, a knife-edge battle in the early hours saw Dongfeng edging out Mapfre for victory by just 56 seconds, and the whole fleet separated by less than 40 minutes.
Last day was really complicated. Big clouds everywhere, big shift of wind, and we passed from first to last and come back to first. But what I know now is that it's going to be a very difficult Volvo, and Axo and Mapfre will be very difficult to beat, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was super busy, really close the whole way. A little bit disappointed not to win, but still lots of positives for us as a team. Yeah, pretty enjoyable, but a lot of hard work.
For sure, it felt like 7 days and a week and 2.5 days. But I think we found out that there are plenty of areas we're fast, but there's also plenty of areas that we still need to work on, and it's good to find out.
The third stage saw the teams head to the French ocean racing destination of Saint-Malo. And despite originally aiming for Lisbon, the fourth and final stage was shortened due to a lack of wind. As a result, it was Spanish team Mapfre who sealed overall Leg Zero victory.
We just finished the Leg Zero, and it's been very good for us. It's been a very intense, almost a month since we left San Xenxo, and so now the first thing is to have a good break of a week or 10 days, and then come back and work in small details and try to be ready for the race.
Finally, we take in the action from the largest snow sports event in the Southern Hemisphere.
For 2 weeks, the towns of Queenstown and Wanaka in New Zealand became home to some of the world's best winter athletes, with a record 920 competitors from 39 countries competing at the Audi Quattro Winter Games. The opening event was the dual slalom, which saw triple Olympian Andre Murra from Sweden take gold in the final run. Other gold medalists across the 2 weeks included Eric Reed of Canada, who put in a near-perfect run in the giant slalom, and Austrian Manuel Feller, who took gold in the slalom event. But one of the highlights for the home crowd was the North Face Frontier, which acts as a qualifying event for the prestigious Freeride World Tour. New Zealand's Roland Morley-Brown took first place in snowboard, whilst in the skiing, fellow Kiwi Hank Billis aimed to make a statement from the off.
Starting off with, it looked like a bit of a 360 there.
Was it? Nose bar,
There's another three.
Skis fast, so he's not just a freestyle skier.
There's
three 360 so far.
Hank Billis starting off with a solid run.
I like this little transfer. Keeping it solid. I bet he's going to hit diving board. Let's see it, Hank.
Here it is.
Let's see the first person to hit diving board today. Comes steaming in.
Going.
Boom! Hank Billis. Wow, what a run.
Incredible run there.
What a run.
Billis's run couldn't be bettered, and the Kiwi took top spot, followed by compatriots Sam Lee in second place and Matthew Sweet in third for an all-New Zealand podium.